Thank you for joining us for Eminon's production of Arsenic and Old Lace. Please refrain from any photography or videography during the show and silence all cell phones. Please join us for complimentary refreshments during our 2 10-minute intermissions. Thank you again, and enjoy the show.
Yes, indeed. My sister Martha and I have been talking all week about your sermon last Sunday. It's truly wonderful, Dr. Harper. In only 2 short years, you've taken on the spirit of Brooklyn.
That's very gratifying, Miss Brewster.
You see, living here next to the church all our lives, we've seen so many ministers come and go. The spirit of Brooklyn, we always say, is friendliness, and your sermons aren't so much sermons as friendly talks.
Personally, I always enjoyed my talks with Cardinal Gibbons. Or, have I met him yet?
No, dear, not yet. Are the biscuits good?
Bully.
Would you have another biscuit, Dr. Harper?
Well, I'll have no appetite for dinner now. I always eat too many of your biscuits just to taste that lovely jam.
Oh, but you haven't tried the quince. We always put a little apple in it to take the tartness out.
No, thank you.
I'll send you over a jar.
No, you keep it here so I can be sure of having your biscuits in it.
I do hope they don't make us use that imitation flour again. With this war trouble, it may not seem very charitable of me, but I've almost come to the conclusion that this Mr. Hitler isn't a Christian.
If only Europe were on another planet.
Europe, sir.
Yes, Teddy.
Point your gun the other way.
Good.
Teddy!
To the west! There's your danger! There's your enemy! Japan!
Why, yes, of course.
Teddy!
No, Aunt Tabby. Not so much talk about Japan and more about the canal.
Well, let's not talk about war. Will you have another cup of tea, dear?
No, thank you, Aunt Tabby.
Dr. Harper.
No, thank you. I must admit, Miss Abby, all this war and violence seems far removed from these surroundings.
It is peaceful here, isn't it?
Yes, peaceful. The virtues of another day. They're all here in this house. The gentle virtues that went away with candlelight and good manners and low taxes.
It's one of the oldest houses in Brooklyn. It's just as it was when Grandfather Brewster built and furnished it, except for the electricity, and we use it as little as possible. It was Mortimer who persuaded us to put it in.
Yes, I can understand that. Your nephew Mortimer seems to only live by electric light.
Well, the poor boy has to work so late. I understand he's taking Elaine to the theater again with him tonight. Teddy, your brother Mortimer will be here a little later.
Delighted.
We're so glad it's Elaine Mortimer takes to the theater with him.
Well, it's a new experience. Waiting up until 3 o'clock in the morning for my daughter to be brought home.
Oh, Dr. Harper, I hope you don't disapprove of Mortimer.
Well,
I'd feel so guilty if you did. Sister Martha and I mean, since it was here in our home that your daughter met Mortimer.
and I'll admit, Miss Abby, I do believe Mortimer to be quite a worthy gentleman. But I must also admit that I have been watching the growing intimacy between him and my daughter with some trepidation. And for one reason, Miss Abby.
You mean his stomach, Dr. Harper?
His stomach.
It's dyspepsia. He's bothered with it so. Poor boy.
No, Miss Abby. I'll be frank with you. I'm speaking of your nephew's unfortunate connection with the theater.
The theater? Oh, no, Dr. Harper. Mortimer writes for a New York newspaper.
I know, Miss Abby, I know, but a dramatic critic is constantly exposed to the theater, and I don't doubt but what some of them do develop an interest in it.
Well, not Mortimer. You need have no fear of that. Why, Mortimer hates the theater.
Really?
Oh, yes, he writes awful things about the theater. But you can't blame him, poor boy. He was so happy writing about real estate, which he really knew something about. And then they just made him take this terrible night position.
My.
But as he says, the theater can't last much longer anyway. And in the meanwhile, it's a living. Yes, I think if we give the theater another year or two. Now, who do you suppose that is? No, thank you, Teddy. I'll go. Oh, Officer Brophy, come in.
Hello, Miss Brewster.
How are you, Mr. Klein?
Very well, Miss Brewster.
What news have you brought?
Colonel, we have nothing to report.
Splendid! Thank you, gentlemen. At ease.
You know Dr. Harper.
Sure. Hello, Dr. Harper.
We've come for the toys for the Christmas fund.
Oh, yes.
That's a splendid work you men do. Fixing up those old toys to give poor children a happier Christmas.
It gives us something to do when we have to sit around the station. You get tired playing cards, and then you start cleaning your gun, and the first thing you know, you shot yourself in the foot. Ted, why don't you go upstairs and get that big box from Aunt Martha's room? How is Mrs. Brophy today? Mrs. Brophy's been quite ill, Dr. Harper.
Pneumonia.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Charge!
She's better now. She's a little weak still, but
I'll get you some beef broth to take to her.
don't bother, Miss Abby. You've done so much for her already.
We made it this morning. I won't be a minute. Sister Martha's taking some to poor Mr. Beninsky right now. Sit down and be comfortable, all of you.
She really shouldn't go to all that trouble.
Listen, try to stop her or her sister from doing something nice. And for nothing. They don't even care how you vote.
When I received my call to Brooklyn and moved next door, my husband was not well. When he died, and for months before, well, if I know what pure kindness and true generosity are, it's because I've known the Brewster sisters.
Colonel, you promised not to do that.
But I must call a cabinet meeting to get a release of those supplies.
He used to do that in the middle of the night. The neighbors raised Cain with us. They're a little afraid of him anyway.
Oh, he's quite harmless.
I suppose he does think he's Teddy Roosevelt. There's a lot worse people he could think he was.
It's a damn shame. Nice family like this hatching a cuckoo.
Well, his father, the old gross brother, was some sort of a genius, wasn't he? And their father, Teddy's grandfather, seems to me I've heard he was a little crazy, too.
Yeah, he was crazy like a fox. He made $1 million.
$1 million? Here in Brooklyn?
Yeah, patent medicine. He was a kind of quack of sorts. Old Sergeant Edwards remembers him. He used the house here as a sort of clinic and tried him out on people.
Yeah. I hear he used to make mistakes occasionally, too.
The department never bothered him much because he was pretty useful in autopsies sometimes. Especially poison cases.
Well, whatever he did, he left his daughters fixed for life. Thank God for that.
Not that they'd ever spend any of it on themselves.
Yes, and well acquainted with their charities.
You don't know a tenth of it. When I was with the Missing Persons Bureau, I was trying to trace an old man that we never did find. Did you know there's a renting agency that got this house down on its list for furnished rooms? They don't rent rooms. You can bet that anybody who comes here looking for a room goes away with a good meal and probably a few dollars in their cake.
It's just their way of digging up people to do some good to.
Oh, well, now isn't this nice?
Good afternoon, Miss Brewster.
How do you do, Mr. Brophy, Dr. Harper, Mr. Klein? How are you, Miss Brewster? We dropped in to get Christmas toys. Yes, Teddy's Army and Navy. They wear out. They're all packed.
Oh, the Colonel's up after them. It seems the cabinet has to okay it.
Of course. I hope Mrs. Brophy's better.
She's doing fine, ma'am. Her sister's getting some soup for me to take to her.
Yes, we made it this morning. I just took some to a poor old man who broke ever so many bones. Oh, Martha, you're back. How is Mr. Beninsky? Well, dear, it's pretty serious, I'm afraid. The doctor is there. He's going to amputate in the morning. Can you be present? No, I asked him, but he says it's against the rules of the hospital.
You couldn't be of any service, and you must spare yourself something.
Oh, Mr. Brophy, here's the broth. Sure, it's good and hot.
Yes, ma'am.
This is fine. It'll make a lot of kids happy. Not around boys, and that's about soldiers.
Ah, here's General Miles. I retired him. What's this? The Oregon.
Teddy, dear, put it back.
But the Oregon goes to Australia.
Now, Teddy.
No, I gave my word to Fighting Bob
But
Evans.
Teddy.
Oh, what's the difference what kid gets it? Bobby Evans, Izzy Cohen, we'll run along, ma'am. And thank you very much.
Not at all. Goodbye.
Well, I better get going.
Charge! Charge the blockhouse!
Blockhouse?
Well, the stairs are always San Juan Hill.
Have you ever tried to persuade him that he wasn't Teddy Roosevelt?
Oh, no. He's so happy being Teddy. Once a long time ago. Remember, Martha? We found a PB George Washington. It might be a change for him. But then he just stayed under his bed for days and wouldn't be anybody. And we'd so much rather he be Mr. Roosevelt than nobody.
But well, if he's happy, and what's more important when you're happy? You'll see to it that he signs these.
What are they? Dr. Harper's made all arrangements for Teddy to go to Happydale Sanitarium to pass on. But
Why should Teddy have to sign any papers now? It's better to have it all settled. If the Lord should take you away from us suddenly, perhaps we couldn't persuade Teddy to commit himself. And that would mean an unpleasant legal procedure. Mrs. Witherspoon understands they're to be filed away until time comes to use them. Mrs. Witherspoon, who's she? She's the superintendent of Happydale.
Dr. Harper has arranged for her to drop in tomorrow the next day to meet Teddy.
Well, I better get going before Elaine comes here looking for me.
Oh, give our love to Elaine. Dr. Harper, please don't think harshly of Mortimer because he's a dramatic critic. Somebody has to do those things.
Did you just have tea? Isn't it rather late?
Yes, and dinner's going to be late too.
So why?
Teddy! Good news for you. You're going to Panama to dig another lock for the canal.
Delighted. That's bully. Just bully. I shall prepare at once for the journey. Charge!
And while I was out, I just couldn't wait for you. I didn't know when you'd be back and Dr. Harper was coming. But all by yourself? Oh, I got along just fine. I'll run right downstairs and see. Oh, no. There wasn't time and I was all alone. Well, Martha, just look and see in the window seat. Oh, it's Elaine. Come in.
Good afternoon, Miss Abby. Good afternoon, Miss Martha. Well, I thought Mother was here. Oh, you just this minute, Mr. Dear. I got through the cemetery. Do you mind if I wait?
Not at all. Why don't you sit down?
But we really must speak to Mortimer about doing this to you. Doing what? Well, when a gentleman calls for a young lady, he should call for her at her house. Oh, there's something about calling for a girl at a parsonage that discourages any man who doesn't embroider.
You've done this too often. We're going to talk to him.
Oh, no, please don't. After a young man whose idea of a nightlife was to take me to a prayer meeting. It's wonderful to go to the theater almost every night of my life. Oh, well, it's comforting for us, too, because if Mortimer has to see some of those plays he has to see,
At least he's sitting next to a minister's daughter. Oh, Elaine, what must you think of us? Not having tea cleared away at a time like this.
now, don't get anything started in the kitchen, dear, and I'll come when Mortimer comes help you. It's a shame you missed her, dear. Yes, Mother must have been surprised not to find me at home. I better run over and say goodnight to her. If Mortimer comes home, I'll be right back. Oh, hello, Mort.
Hello, Elaine. Hello, Aunt Martha.
Mortimer. Abby, Mortimer's here.
Are you going somewhere?
I was just going to tell Mother not to wait up for me tonight.
I didn't know that was still being done. I'm in Brooklyn.
Mortimer!
Hello, Aunt Abby.
How are you, dear?
All right. And you look well. You haven't changed much since yesterday.
Oh, my goodness, it was yesterday, wasn't it? Well, come, sit down, sit down.
Abby, haven't we got something to do? You know, the tea things?
Oh! Tea things. Well, why don't you two just make yourselves at home? Just
Make yourselves at home. Well, can't you take a hint?
No. That was pretty obvious. A lack of inventiveness, I should say.
Yes, that's exactly what you'd say.
Where do you want to go for dinner?
I don't care, I'm not very hungry.
Well, I just had breakfast. Suppose we wait until after the show.
Well, that'll make it pretty late, won't it?
Not with the little stinker we're seeing tonight. From what I've heard about it, we'll be at Blake's by 10 o'clock.
You ought to be fair to these plays.
Are these plays fair to me?
I've never seen you walk out on a musical.
That musical isn't opening tonight.
No?
Darling, you have to learn the rules. With a musical, there are always 4 changes of title and 3 postponements. They like it in New Haven, but it needs a lot of work.
Oh, I was hoping it was a musical.
You have such a light mind.
Not a bit. Musicals somehow have a humanizing effect on you. After a serious play, we joined the proletariat in the subway, and I listened to a lecture on the drama. After a musical, you bring me home in a taxi, and you make a few passes.
Now, wait a minute, darling. That's a very inaccurate piece of recording.
Oh, I will admit that after the Berman play, you told me I had authentic beauty, which is a hell of a thing to say to a girl. It wasn't until after our first musical you told me I had nice legs. And I have, too.
You're a minister's daughter, you know a lot about life. Where'd you learn it?
Choir law.
I'll explain that to you sometime, darling. The close connection between eroticism and religion.
Religion never gets as high as the choir loft. Which reminds me, I better run and tell Mother not to wait up for me tonight.
I've never been able to rationalize it.
What?
I'm falling in love with a girl who lives in Brooklyn.
Falling in love? You're not stooping to the articulate, are you?
The only way I can regain my self-respect is to keep you in New York.
Did you say keep?
No. I've come to the conclusion that you're holding out for the legalities.
I can afford to be a good girl for quite a few years yet.
And I can't wait that long. Where could we be married in a hurry? Say tonight.
I'm afraid Mother will insist on officiating.
Oh, God! I'll bet even your mother can make a service sound pedestrian.
Are you by any chance writing a review of it?
Forgive me, darling. It's an occupational disease. I may give that play tonight, I could notice.
No, darling, don't pretend you love me that much.
Be sure to tell your mother not to wait up for you tonight.
I think tonight I better tell her to wait up.
I'll telephone Winchell to publish the banns.
Nevertheless.
All right. Everything formal and legal, but no later than next month.
Darling! I'll talk it over with Mother and set the date.
Oh, now we'll have to see what's in rehearsal. There'll be a lot of other first nights in October.
Hello, Mortimer.
How are you, Mr. President?
Bully, thank you. Just bully. What news have you brought me?
Just this, Mr. President. The country is squarely behind you.
Yes, I know. Isn't it wonderful? Well, I'm off. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Where are you off to, Teddy?
Panama.
Panama's the south. He takes lots for the canal down there.
You're so sweet with him, and he's awfully fond of you.
Well, Teddy always was my favorite brother.
Favorite? Were there more of you?
There's another brother, Jonathan.
I've never heard of him. Your aunts never mentioned him.
No, we don't quite like to talk about Jonathan. He left Brooklyn very early, at my request. Jonathan was the kind of boy who liked to cut worms in two with his teeth.
What became of him?
Well, I don't know. He wanted to become a surgeon like grandfather, but he wouldn't go to medical school first, and so his practice got him into trouble.
Oh, aren't you two going to be late for the theater?
We're skipping dinner. We won't have to start for half an hour.
Oh, then I'll just leave you two alone.
Don't worry about it, darling. I better run over and talk to Mother. Before I go out with you, she likes to pray over me a little. I'll be right back. I'll go through the cemetery.
If the prayer isn't too long, I'd have time to lead you by distilled waters.
Mortimer, that's the first time I ever heard you quote the Bible. You, Elaine, would be a good influence for you.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to marry her.
What? Oh, darling! Martha, come in here. I've got the most wonderful news for you. Mortimer and Elaine are going to be married. Married? Oh, it would happen just like this. Well, Elaine must be the happiest girl in the world.
Happy? Yeah, just look at her leaping over those gravestones. Say, what is that?
What's what, dear?
See that statue there? That is a Horrendinida carnea.
Oh, no, dear. That's Emma B. Stout ascending to heaven.
No, standing on Mrs. Stout's left ear. That bird. That's a red-crested swallow. I've only seen one of those before in my life.
Well, I don't know how you can be thinking about a bird now, but with Elaine and the engagement and everything.
It's a vanishing species.
Thoreau is very fond of them.
By the way, I left a large envelope around here. It was one of my chapters in my book on Thoreau. Have you seen it?
Well, if you left it here, it must be somewhere.
What are your plans? When are you going to be married? There must be something more you can tell us about Elaine.
Elaine? Oh, yes. Elaine thought it was brilliant.
What, Miss dear?
My chapter on Thoreau.
Well, when Elaine comes back, we ought to have a little celebration. We must drink to your happiness. Martha, isn't there some of that Lady Baltimore cake left? Oh, yes. And I'll open a bottle of wine. Oh, and to think it happened in this room.
Where did I put that?
Well, with your fiancé sitting beside you tonight, I do hope the theater can be something we can enjoy for once. It might be something romantic. What's the name of it?
Murder Will Out.
Dear.
When the curtain goes up, the first thing you'll see is a dead body. Aunt Abby! You were going to make plans for Teddy to go to that sanitarium. Happydale!
Oh, yes, dear, it's all arranged. Dr. Harper was here today and brought the papers for Teddy to sign. Here they are.
He's got to sign them right away.
That's what Dr. Harper thinks, and there won't be any legal difficulties after we pass on.
He's got to sign in this minute. He's down in the cellar. Get him up here right away.
Oh, dear, there's no such hurry as that. No, once Teddy starts working on the canal, you can't get his mind on anything else.
Teddy's got to go to Happydale now. Tonight.
Oh, no, dear, that's not until after we're gone.
Right away, I tell you. Right away.
Mortimer, how could you say such a thing? Why, as long as we live, we'll never be separated from Teddy.
Oh. Listen, darlings. I'm frightfully sorry, but I've got some shocking news for you. Now, we've all got to try and keep our pets. You know, we've sort of humored Teddy because we thought he was harmless.
Why, his harmless.
He was harmless. That's why he has to go to Happydale. Why he has to be confined.
Mortimer, why have you suddenly turned against Teddy, your own brother?
Oh, you've got to know sometime. It might as well be now. Teddy's killed a man.
Nonsense, dear.
There's a body in the window seat.
Yes, dear, we know.
You know.
Of course, dear, but it has nothing to do with Teddy.
Mortimer, just forget about it. Forget you ever saw the gentleman.
Forget?
We never dreamed you'd peep.
But who is he?
His name's Hoskins, Adam Hoskins. That's all I really know about him, except that he's a Methodist.
That's all you know about him. What's he doing here? What happened to him?
He died.
Aunt Martha, men don't just get into window seats and die.
No, he died first.
Well, how?
Mortimer, don't be so inquisitive. The gentleman died because he drank some wine with poison in it.
How did the poison get in the wine?
Well, we put it in wine because it's less noticeable. When it's in tea, it has a distinct odor.
You put it in the wine?
Yes, and I put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat because Dr. Harper was coming.
So you think you're done? You didn't want Dr. Harper to see the body?
Well, not at tea. That wouldn't have been very nice. Now, Mortimer, you know the whole thing. Just forget about it. I do think Martha and I have the right to our own little secrets.
And don't you tell Elaine. Oh, Abby, while I was out, I dropped in on Mrs. Schultz. She's feeling much better, but she would like us to take Junior to the movies again.
Oh, we must do that tomorrow or the next day.
Of course, but this time we'll go where we want to go. I'm not going to let Junior drag me into another one of those scary pictures.
City desk. Hello? Al? Do you know who this is? That's right. Say, Al, when I left the office, I told you where I was going. Remember? Well, where did I say? Uh-huh. Well, it'd take me a half hour to get to Brooklyn. What time you got? That is right, I must be here. Aunt Tabby, Aunt Martha, come in here. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
What are we going to do about what, dear?
There's a body in there!
Yes, Mr. Hoskins.
Oh, good heavens, I can't turn you over to the police. But what am I going to do?
Well, for one thing, dear, stop being so excited. And for pity's sake, stop worrying. We told you to forget the whole thing.
Forget? My dear Aunt Abby. Can't I make you realize that something has to be done?
Mortimer, you better behave yourself. You're too old to be flying off the handle like this.
But Mr. Hotchkiss!
Hoskins, dear.
Well, whatever his name is, you can't leave him here.
We don't intend to, dear.
No, Teddy's down in the cellar digging the lock.
When you're going to bury Mr. Hotchkiss in the cellar?
Of course, dear, that's what we did with the others.
You can't bury Mr. Hotchkiss Others.
The other gentlemen.
When you say others, you mean others. More than one others?
Oh, yes, dear, let me see. This is 11, isn't it, Abby?
No, dear, this makes 12.
Oh, no, I think you're wrong. This is only 11.
No, because when Mr. Hoskins first came in, it occurred to me that he would make just an even dozen.
Well, you really shouldn't count him because he just died.
Oh, I was counting the first one. So, that makes 12.
Hello? Oh, hello, Al. My goodness, it's good to hear your voice.
Well, anyway, they're all down in the cellar.
No, Al, I'm as sober as a lark. I just called because I was feeling a little pure and devil. You wouldn't know. Look, Al, I'm glad you called. Get a hold of George right away. He's got to review the play tonight. I can't make it. No, Al, you're wrong. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. Well, George has got to review the play tonight. This is my department, and I'm running it. You get a hold of George. Now, let's see. Where were we? Oh, 12!
Oh, yes, Abby thinks we ought to count the first one, and that makes 12.
All right. Now, who was the first one?
Mr. Mitchley, he was a Baptist.
Although I don't think we can claim full credit for him because he just died.
Martha means without any help from us. You see, Mr. Mitchley came here looking for a room.
It was right after you moved to New York.
And it didn't seem right for that lovely room to be going to waste when there were so many people who needed it.
He was such a lonely old man.
Oh, his kids and Ken were dead. It left him so forlorn and unhappy.
And we felt so sorry for him.
And then when his heart attack came and he said dead in that chair, looking so peaceful. Remember, Martha? We made our mind then and there that if we could let other lonely old men come to that same peace, we would.
You dropped dead in that chair. How awful for you.
Oh, no, why, it was rather like old times. Your grandfather always used to have a cadaver or two around the house. You see, Teddy thought Mr. Midgley was a yellow fever victim, so...
That meant he had to be buried immediately.
So we took him down to the cellar and held services. Now, that's why we didn't want to worry you, dear, because we know what's to be done.
And that's how all this started. That man walking in here and dropping dead.
Oh, we couldn't rely on that happening again, so...
You remember those little jars of poison that were sitting up in Grandfather's laboratory for all those years?
Well, you know your Aunt Martha's knack for mixing things. You've eaten enough of her piccalilli.
Well, dear, for 1 gallon of elderberry wine, I take 1 teaspoonful of arsenic, half a teaspoonful of strychnine, and just a pinch of cyanide.
Should have quite a kick.
Yes, in fact, one of our gentlemen found time to say, how delicious.
Well, I should get things started in the kitchen.
Oh, I wish you could stay for dinner. I'm trying out a new recipe.
I couldn't eat a thing.
Oh, let me help you, dear. Well, I feel so much better now. Oh, you have to wait for Elaine, don't you? How happy you must be. Well, I'll leave you alone to your thoughts.
you.
Don't be so cross, darling. Mother could see I was excited, so I told her about us, and that made it hard for me to get away. But listen, darling, she's not going to wait up for me tonight.
Look, Elaine, you were along woman. I'll call you up tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
You know, I always call you up every day or two.
Oh, but we're supposed to go to the theater tonight.
No. No, we're not.
Well, why not?
Elaine, something's come up.
What is it, darling? Mortimer, you've lost your job!
No, I haven't lost my job. I'm just not covering that play tonight.
Well, I've got to know what's happened. Certainly you can tell me.
No, I can't.
Well, if we're going to be married, then...
Married?
Have you forgotten that not 15 minutes ago you proposed to me?
I did? Oh, yes! As far as I know, that is still on. Now you and all home, Elaine.
Well, listen, you can't just propose to me one minute and throw me out of the house the next.
I'm not throwing you out of the house. Will you get out of here?
No, I will not get out of here. Not until I've had some kind of explanation.
Elaine! Hello? Hello, Al. Hold on a minute, will you? All right, it's important, but I can wait a minute. Hold on. Look, Elaine, you're a sweet girl. I love you, but there's something on my mind right now, so I want you to run along home and wait until I call you.
Don't try to be masterful.
When we're married, I have problems to face. I hope you're less tedious and uninspired.
And when we're married, if we're married, I hope I find you adequate.
Elaine! Elaine! Hello? Al? Hello?
That's the doorbell, dear, not the telephone. Oh, how do you do? Come in.
I understand you have a room to rent?
Oh, yes, won't you step in?
Are you the lady of the house?
Yes, I'm Miss Brewster, and this is my sister, another Miss Brewster.
My name's Gibbs.
Oh, won't you sit down? I'm sorry, we're just setting the table for dinner.
Hello? Let me talk to Al again. City desk. Al. City desk. What? Oh, I'm sorry, wrong number.
May I see the room? Why don't you sit down a minute and let's get acquainted? That won't do much good if I don't like the room.
Is Brooklyn your home?
Haven't got a home. Live in a hotel. Don't like it.
Hello. City desk.
Are your family Brooklyn people? Haven't got any family.
All alone in the world.
Yep.
Well, Martha, well, you've come to just the right house. Do sit down.
Hello? Al? Mort, we got cut off. Look, Al, I can't cover the play tonight. That's all there is to it. I can't.
Well, what church do you go to? There's an Episcopal church practically next door. I'm Presbyterian. Used to be.
What's George doing in Bermuda? Well, look, Al, you've got to get somebody. Who else is there around the office?
Is there always this much noise? He doesn't live with us.
Look, Al, what about the office boy? You know, the bright one? The one we don't like?
I'd really like to see the room.
It's upstairs, but won't you try a glass of our wine before we start up?
Never touch it. It's elderberry wine. We make it ourselves. Elderberry wine. Well, I haven't tasted elderberry wine since I was a boy. Thank you.
Well, there ought to be some printers around. Look, Al, what about the fellow who sets my copy? Oh, but Al, he might turn out to be another Burns Mantle.
Do you have your own elderberry bushes?
No, but the cemetery is full of them.
No, I'm not drinking, but I'm going to start now.
Do you serve meals?
We might but first just see when you like our wine. Mortimer! Mortimer, not that!
Ah! Out of this house! Do you want to be killed? Do you want to be murdered? Get out! You can't open that door! explain this to you, but not only is it against the law, it's wrong. It's not a nice thing to do. People wouldn't understand. He wouldn't understand.
Abby, we shouldn't have told Mortimer.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, this has turned into a very bad habit.
Mortimer, we don't stop you from doing the things you like to do. I don't see why you
Hello? All right, I'll see the first act, and I'll pan the hell out of it. But look, Al, you've got to do something for me. Get a hold of O'Brien, our lawyer. He's the head of our legal department. Have him meet me at the theater. Now, don't let me down. Okay? I'm starting now. Look, aunties, I can't get out of going to the theater. But before I go, will you promise me something?
Well, we have to know what it is first.
I love you very much. And I know you love me. I'd do anything in the world for you, so I want you to do just this little thing for me.
Well, what do you want us to do?
Don't do anything. I mean, don't do anything. Don't let anyone in this house and leave Mr. Hoskins right where he is.
Why?
I want time to think, and I have quite a little to think about. You know, I wouldn't want anything to happen to you.
Well, what on earth could happen to us?
Anyway, you'll do this for me, won't you?
Well, we were planning on holding services before dinner.
Services?
Well, Mr. Hoskins was a Methodist. You don't think we'd have a full Methodist service, do you?
But can't that wait until I get back?
Oh, then you could join us.
Yes! Yes!
Oh, Mortimer, you'll enjoy the services, especially the hymns. Remember how beautifully Mortimer used to sing in the choir before his voice changed?
And remember, you're not going to let anyone in this house while I'm gone. It's a promise.
Well,
Oh, Martha, we can do that now that Mortimer's cooperating with us. Well, all right, Mortimer.
I've got some paper. I'll be back as soon as I can. There's a man I've got to see.
Here's some stationery. Will this do?
That'll be fine. I can save time if I write my review on the way to the theater.
Abby, Mortimer didn't seem quite himself today.
Well, that's only natural. I think I know why. Why? He's just become engaged to be married. Suppose that always makes a man nervous.
Well, I'm so happy for Elaine. And their honeymoon ought to give Mortimer a real vacation. I don't think he got much rest this summer.
Well, at least he didn't go kiting off to China or Spain.
I could never understand why he wanted to go to those places.
Well, I think to Mortimer, the theater's always seemed pretty small potatoes. He needs something big to criticize. Something like the human race.
Abby, if Mortimer's coming to the services, we'll need another hymnal. There's one up in my room.
You know, dear, it's really my turn to do the services, but since you weren't here when Mr. Hoskins came in, I want you to do it.
Oh, that's very nice of you, dear, but are you sure you want me to do it?
It's only fair.
Okay, I'll wear my black bombazine and Mother's old brooch.
Oh, although,
We promised Mortimer we wouldn't let anyone in.
what do you suppose it is?
Oh, look. Oh, there's two men, and I've never seen them before.
Are you sure?
There's a car at the curb. They must have come in that.
Let me look.
Do you recognize them?
Strangers to me.
Well, we'll just have to act like we're not at home.
Come in, Doctor. This is the home of my youth. As a boy, I couldn't wait to escape from this place, but now I'm glad to escape back into it.
Yeah, Tony, It's a fine hideout.
The family must still live here. There's something so unmistakably Brewster about the Brewsters. I hope there's a fatted calf awaiting the return of the prodigal.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Look, Johnny, drinks.
As though we were expected. A good omen.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Why, Aunt Abby. And Martha. It's Jonathan.
You get out of here.
And Jonathan. Your nephew, Jonathan.
Oh, no, you're not. You're nothing like Jonathan, so don't pretend you are. You just get out of here.
But I am Jonathan. And this is Dr. Einstein.
And he's not Dr. Einstein either.
Not Dr. Albert Einstein. Dr. Herman Einstein.
Who are you? You're not her nephew, Jonathan.
I see you're still wearing the lovely garnet ring that Grandma Brewster bought in England. And you, Aunt Martha, still the high collar? Hide the scar where grandfather's acid burned you?
His voice is like Jonathan's. Have you been in an accident?
No. My face. Dr. Einstein is responsible for that. He's a plastic surgeon. He changes people's faces.
But I've seen that face before, Abby. Remember when we took the little Schultz boy to the movies and I was so frightened? It was that face!
Easy, Johnny, easy. Don't worry, ladies. The last 5 years I gave Johnny 3 new faces. I give him another one right away. His last face fell. I saw that picture too just before I operated. And I was intoxicated.
You see, Doctor? You see what you've done to me? Even my own family!
Johnny, you're home. In this lovely house. How often he tells me about Brooklyn, about this house, about his aunts that he loves so much. They know you, Johnny. No, it's Jonathan. Speak to him. Tell him so.
Well, Jonathan, it's been a long time. What have you been doing all these years? Yes, Jonathan, where have you been?
Oh, England, South Africa, Australia, the last 5 years, Chicago. Dr. Einstein and I were in business there together.
Oh, we were in Chicago for the World's Fair. Oh, yes, we found Chicago awfully warm.
Yeah, it got hot for us too.
Well, it's wonderful to be back in Brooklyn again. And you, Abby, Martha, you don't look a day older. Just as I remembered you. Sweet, charming, hospitable, and dear Teddy. Did he ever get into politics? My little brother, Doctor, is determined to become president.
Oh, Teddy's fine, just fine. And Mortimer's well, too.
I know about Mortimer. I've seen his picture at the head of his column. He's evidently fulfilled all the potential of his early nasty nature.
We're very fond of Mortimer. Well, Jonathan, it was very nice to see you again.
Bless you, Aunt Martha. It's good to be home.
Well, Martha, we mustn't let what's on the stove boil over. Yes, Jonathan, if you'll excuse us for a minute. Unless you're in a hurry to go somewhere.
Well, Johnny, where do we go from here? We got to think fast. The police have got pictures of that face. I got to operate on you right away. We got to find a place for that. We got to find a place for Mr. Spinalzo, too.
Don't waste any worry on that rat.
But Johnny, we got a hot stiff on our hands.
Forget Mr.
But you
Spinalzo.
can't leave a dead body in the rumble seat. You shouldn't have killed him, Johnny. He's a nice fellow. He gives us a lift. And what happens?
He said I look like Boris Karloff. That's your work, Doctor. You did that to me!
Johnny, we find a place somewhere. I fix you up quick.
Tonight!
Johnny, I've got to eat first. I'm hungry. Weak.
Jonathan, we're very glad that you remembered us and took good time to say hello, but you were never happy in this house, and we were never happy while you were in, so it's come to say goodbye.
Aunt Abby, I can't say that your feeling toward me comes as a surprise. I've spent a great many hours regretting the many heartaches I must have given you as a boy.
Quite the trial to us, Jonathan.
But my great disappointment is for Dr. Einstein. I promised him that no matter how rushed we were in passing through Brooklyn, I'd take the time to bring him here for one of Aunt Martha's home-cooked dinners.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm afraid there wouldn't be enough. Abby, it's a pretty decent-sized pot roast.
Hot roast.
I think the least we can
Thank
do...
you, Aunt Martha. We'll stay to dinner.
Well, we'll hurry it along. Yes. Oh, Jonathan, if you wanted to freshen up, why don't you use the washroom at Grandfather's old laboratory?
Is that still there?
Oh, yes, just as he left it. Well, I'll go help Mark in the kitchen since we're all in a hurry.
Well, we get the meal anyway.
Grandfather's old laboratory. And just as it was. Doctor, a perfect operating room.
Too bad we can't use it.
After you finished with me, why, we can make a fortune here. The laboratory, that large ward in the attic. 10 beds, Doctor. And Brooklyn is crying for your talents.
Why fork yourself up, Johnny? Anyway, for Brooklyn, I think we're a year too late.
You don't know this town, Doctor. Practically everybody in Brooklyn needs a new face.
But so many of the old faces are locked up.
A very small percentage. And the boys in Brooklyn are famous for paying generously to stay out of jail.
Take it easy, Johnny. Your aunts, they don't want us here.
We're here to dinner, aren't we?
Yeah, but after dinner?
Leave it to me, Doctor. I'll handle it. Why? This will be our headquarters for years.
Oh, that would be beautiful, Johnny. This nice, quiet house. Those aunts of yours, such sweet ladies. I love them already. I get the bags, yeah?
Doctor, we must wait until we're invited.
But you just said
We'll
that
be invited.
if they say no.
Doctor, two helpless old women.
It's like comes true, a beautiful dream. Only, I hope you're not dreaming. So peaceful.
That's what makes this house so perfect for us. It's so peaceful.